Talk. Let's go.
Hey, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Hope you guys are doing all right. It's me, your boy, Ryan Flowers, a.k.a. Clutch Sports Talk, and welcome to another edition of NFL Matchups. Now, we have a great show in store for you guys tonight. Breaking news. John Harbaugh was just relieved of his duties as head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. We'll talk about him and the rest of the other head coaches that were recently fired, from Raheem Morris back on Sunday to a plethora of other guys yesterday. And of course, I'll talk about the Baltimore Ravens. What's next for them now? Obviously, John Harbaugh is out the door, but what about Lamar Jackson? I'll share my thoughts on that and make sure you guys drop a comment for that. And of course, it would not be NFL matchups if I did not break down all of the games for Wild Card Weekend in the NFL. So if you love football, then you're in the right spot. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This is NFL Matchups with me, Ryan Flowers. Let's go.
We're going to be here all day, baby. I like this kind of party. I like this kind of party, baby.
All right, man. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you guys are doing all right, man. Hope your week is off to a great start. Mine's is. So it's pretty decent here in Las Vegas. But of course, it's NFL matchups. But before we get started, if you haven't already and you're watching on YouTube right now, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel at Clutch Sports Talk Podcast as well. Look me up on the Grid Network, where we have a plethora of other sports content creators that are doing their thing. Also on TikTok, while I'm streaming live right now at Clutch_sports_talk, and Instagram at clutch.sports.talk, so you guys can find me there too. And then if you're watching live on TikTok, man, hey, let's get the likes going in the chat right now. Let's get some comments. It's NFL matchups. We're doing it big and live and right here broadcasting here from Las Vegas, Nevada, my home. So let's get into it. All right. Like I just said at the top of the show, John Harbaugh just relieved of his duties as the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. So that just happened. I already had a segment planned for that, so we'll talk about him. But I do want to talk about the other coaches and the other teams that just relieved their coaches of their head coaching duties. So we'll start with Sunday evening, I believe it was. Raheem Morris. Is it Raheem Morris, right? He got canned. And I believe the GM too. And really quick about them, I mean, it's no surprise that he was going to get canned anyway. Their downfall was the quarterback, which most of these guys, I mean, pretty much with the exception of John Harbaugh, all these guys were doomed because of quarterback play. And I think that's pretty factual, if I'm not mistaken. Raheem Morris and the GM, they banked on Michael Penix Jr. After signing Kirk Cousins to like a very lucrative deal, may I add. And then you go and draft Michael Penix Jr., who then gets hurt. He's like on his third ACL tear now. And really, it didn't pan out for them. So the Falcons kind of shot themselves in the foot with that. And of course, Raheem Morris is kind of the scapegoat in a sense, but they just couldn't get it done there. And like all these teams in the NFL, if you don't have the right quarterback, it's going to be a nightmare. It's just like in life. If you're getting married or you're in a relationship with someone, if you marry the wrong woman or man or whatever the case may be, and it goes wrong, it can go wrong really quick, and it's going to be a pain in the ass. And that's exactly what happened to Atlanta. Now, what does Atlanta do? Obviously, John Harbaugh is on the market. You got Kevin Stefanski. He's on the market. Pete Carroll, Jonathan Gannon. We'll talk about them in a second. But what do they do next? This team is loaded. They have a lot of offensive talent. Defensively, okay, I guess. But offensively, you have one of the best running backs or young players in the National Football League in Bijan Robinson. So that's a good start. Drake London, when he's healthy, is a very, very good, competent wide receiver. And of course, you have Kyle Pitts there. So you got some building blocks there. So we'll see what happens with them. But Raheem Morris probably won't get another head coaching job if he decides to stay in the NFL. He's probably better off being a coordinator, and that's perfectly fine. Okay. The next guy that got canned, Jonathan Gannon. Again, walked into a situation with Arizona where you had Kyler Murray. And a lot of people were kind of on the fence with Kyler Murray. Some of us was like, well, he's pretty good, right? If he's focused and he's locked in, but he's got to stay healthy. And of course, Jonathan Gannon's like, okay, I could probably make this work a little bit, right? And to be fair, the Cardinals, although they lost a lot of football games this year, they were in a lot of games too. The other mistake that they made was drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. when they probably should have went offensive lineman, or at least Malik Neighbors, if I'm not mistaken. I think he went before or after, I forgot what the case may be. But long story short, they ended up going with Marvin Harrison Jr. when they probably should have addressed the offensive line issues. And Joe Alt, I believe, was still on the market at that point. But guess what? Jim Harbaugh took that guy later on. So Jonathan Gannon, it just didn't work there. Arizona is not a really, really great franchise in recent history. Kyler Murray has gotten some people fired. He's got Cliff Kingsbury fired. He's got his GMs fired. He's got now Jonathan Gannon fired. And it looks like he's on his way out anyway in Arizona too. So Arizona, again, what they're going to do next, it has to start with the quarterback play. But it starts with getting the right person in place to make everything work. And then we stay out west here in the desert. Pete Carroll, 1 year, he's out. Very interesting hire, but I do get it. At the time, I was kind of like, you know what? Pete Carroll might be okay. He might be okay. Just because I thought, he can bring some stability to an organization that's really been thirsting for some type of stability and consistency. But he ended up trading for Geno Smith. That was a nightmare. So another coach tied to a quarterback who was just a complete debacle. Interception after interception after interception. Offensive line wasn't great. Their defense is very porous. They have a lot of things that need to be addressed in Las Vegas with the Raiders. So Pete Carroll, he's being shown the door. And then finally, Kevin Stefanski. Now, again, his quarterback situation too is a little bit intriguing because for all intents and purposes and the reports that are out there, he didn't want to get Deshaun Watson, and he damn for sure didn't want to draft Shedeur Sanders. Okay, I think that's pretty obvious, right? So they mismanaged the quarterback position so badly that it affected their season. I mean, listen, I know it's the Cleveland Browns, but they actually have some pretty solid pieces on that team. You go back to when Baker Mayfield was there, when they actually made a deep run in the playoffs, and then it kind of just went downhill from there, right? Kevin Stefanski was on this complete high. I believe he won Coach of the Year. But again, quarterbacks. If you don't have the right quarterback, then you're kind of just dead in the water, right? So to speak. So he's out. But out of all those guys, with the exception of John Harbaugh, because we'll talk about him next, he might be the only guy that's probably going to get another head coaching job based off of just some little success that he earned that in his earlier seasons with the Cleveland Browns, right? Great. Let's get the likes going, guys. Appreciate you guys. Let's see if we can get up to 500 likes here in the next couple minutes here on TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube, man, drop a comment, drop a like, and follow and share as we progress out through the show. So appreciate you guys that are liking right now. All right. John Harbaugh. All right, let's see. We got some comments here. He's going to the Raiders. I would hope that he goes to the Cleveland Browns. Gabos on TikTok says that. So yeah, and I'll share some thoughts on some speculation in my brain that I think where some of these guys may land, right, or where they probably should land, or what's the best fit. But I want to talk about the Baltimore Ravens. So, like I said at the top of the show, John Harbaugh is gone. He's out of here, out of Baltimore at least. Long tenure. I mean, 2000. I want to say like 2009, I believe he was there. 2008, 2009, he was hired as the coach. He's got a Super Bowl. He's had some really, really good teams. And then he kind of lucked into Lamar Jackson, per se, right? Joe Flacco was kind of like not the Joe Flacco that won the Super Bowl. He was looking a lot older, a lot slower, not the same caliber of player, but they happened to draft Lamar Jackson, and he comes out to be a phenomenon, right? A phenom. One of the most unique football players we've ever had in National Football League, hands down. And just recently, last 2 years, they've had some couple seasons that just have ended so brutally, whether it's a fumble at the goal line or a drop pass, or on Sunday night, a field goal that misses wide right that should have just been a chip shot that puts you in the playoffs, right? And maybe John Harbaugh does not get fired. And I said that on my live stream on Sunday, that whoever lost that game, that coach was being fired. And the Ravens waited a couple days, they mulled it over, and maybe they talked to Lamar Jackson. And I think, to an extent, yes, I think they probably needed a new voice in the locker room, but I don't think it's all John Harbaugh's fault either, right? Some of the players have not performed or executed, including the quarterback. Now, I get it, folks. Now, and thanks for the follow there, Ryan. I get it that Lamar Jackson is a two-time MVP, right? I get that. And he hasn't showed up in the playoffs. I believe he's 3-5. Most of those games have been at home. I believe his record, his stat line, I think is like 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, something crazy like that. Not to say that he's not a good player. He is a very, very good player, and we saw glimpses of that, especially Sunday night, because he's been battling injuries. Was it time to move on John Harbaugh? Yes. But I don't think John Harbaugh is like these lame duck coaches like Jonathan Gannon, Steve Carroll, Raheem Morris, things like that. I think John Harbaugh would be sought after by plenty of teams, in particularly the Raiders. There's a potential that and here's my hypothesis, y'all. And let's get the likes going on TikTok, man. We're only at 5. Come on, let's go. My hypothesis is that there will be 2 Harbaughs in the AFC West come next fall. Jim in LA with the Chargers, and his brother John will be in Las Vegas here with the Raiders. But I digress from that. Let's talk about a little bit more about Lamar Jackson to that extent. Now, Lamar Jackson does have to accept some of the blame here. I know he had a pretty solid game towards the end of Sunday, but overall the shoulders have fallen on him. And I've been on this soapbox for a couple years. The minute they paid Lamar Jackson, I said if they don't win an AFC Conference Championship, it's been like a waste. And that was like 3 seasons ago almost. Okay? So where are we now? Now I get it. Lamar Jackson's like 29 years old. You're not going to get rid of him. I know there was reports that he might be traded. That's nonsense. He's not going to get traded. Okay? He's just not. So it's easier to get rid of the coach than it is to get rid of a generational talent such as Lamar Jackson. So what's going to happen to them next year? Number one, he's got to get healthy. Number one. Now, he did suffer a lot of injuries this year, whether it was a hamstring or a back, and you can tell. You can definitely tell that he was not the same Lamar Jackson. Didn't have that same quick burst. Didn't have that playmaking ability. Nonetheless, okay? And I'll get to your questions, guys, here in a second. But if we can get up to 1,000, that'd be great, too. I can start answering some more questions. But nonetheless, the Baltimore Ravens will go as far as Lamar Jackson will take them. And their offense is a lot more potent when he has the ability to run. Now, I know people say, oh, he's a great pocket passer. He can throw. He's accurate, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, okay, and this is not hate, right? Lamar Jackson is a better running quarterback than he is just being a regular sit in the pocket type quarterback. That's his game. That's what makes him so unique. I'm 41 years old. I had the pleasure of watching Michael Vick throughout his career, and Lamar Jackson is the closest thing to Michael Vick, right? We have not seen anything like that since those 2 guys. So in order for the Ravens to be successful, number one, you're going to have to bring in a good coach. And who is that at this point, right? It's going to be someone we never heard about, right? So is it a Kevin Stefanski? I doubt that. Who else is out there? I don't know. Is it a young coordinator that we don't know about yet? So I get the move. Do I like the move per se? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, there were some questionable decisions by John Harbaugh towards the end of the season, especially that game against the Patriots, where they basically didn't give Derrick Henry the ball at all. So, but overall, the Baltimore Ravens, I think their window for winning a championship might have closed, I think. If we get to 1,000, I'll start answering some questions on TikTok too, guys. We're almost there. Keep it up, guys. But overall, I mean, the Baltimore Ravens, they're not clutch at the end of the day, and it's not even no pun intended because that's my nickname, but they're just not clutch enough. And to go back to that Steelers game, a lot of people were saying, well, they probably should have went for it a little bit, or not went for it, but like try to get more yardage. Listen, man, a 40-something yard field goal is pretty commonplace, I think, in the NFL. Right now, I know there's a lot of pressure on that rookie quarterback, and Pittsburgh is not an easy place to kick field goals. It just isn't. We just saw Boswell miss a field goal, an extra point. Right, so there's a lot of pressure. I get it. There, I believe it was like 14, 16 seconds left. I thought it was the right call to just to get the ball to where your kicker wants to kick it from. The kid just missed it, plain and simple. So we could easily be talking about Mike Tomlin tonight, but instead we're talking about John Harbaugh, and that's why that game was so big. So I don't see a big future for the Baltimore Ravens, unfortunately. I think, great, we reached 1,000. I'll start answering some questions here. But I think their future is done. I think their window's closed. Derrick Henry is just going to be another year older, and Lamar Jackson, if he can stay healthy, we'll see. We'll see. All right, let me go back through the thread here and see what we got here as far as questions on TikTok. Yeah, Fire Bowls. Yeah, Tampa Bay, I don't know what they're waiting on, honestly. I think Gabbs is going to make there's no one else with that type of pedigree. They just lost. Yeah, I agree. Squirrel Man, he stole Michael's Vic whole flow, word for word, bar for bar. uh, I want to be free from nightmare of Todd Bowles as a Bucks fan. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're waiting on, honestly. I don't know what they're waiting on. Lamar Jackson handpicked his offensive coordinator. Harbaugh to Atlanta. That's an interesting one too, Matt Mason. That could be an interesting one too. They got the weapons. They just need to improve the defense a little bit. We'll see. We'll see what Arthur Blank wants to do because they missed out on some good coaches last year, right? And Liam Cohen, Mike McDonald. They could have went and got some guys. You know what I'm saying? What else we got here? Son Goku, he's glad Harbaugh's gone. Come on, man. How do I feel about Harbaugh being brought to Atlanta? Again, like I think that might be a good fit. I think that's a good fit too. I think the Raiders would be a good fit, honestly. What do you think? What do you think of the Eagles knowing your Cowboys? I think the Eagles are a good team. It's the offense. The offense has been very laggy throughout the course of the year, but they're a good team. I'm not gonna talk shit about them because they're in the playoffs and the Cowboys aren't. So simple as that. So I give props where props is due. So if you guys watch my show, people who've watched my live streams, I'm not biased. I give props where props is due. Respect is everything, right? So the Eagles are a good team. They've been in a Super Bowl recently and they've won a Super Bowl recently. Cowboys haven't. So the Cowboys were in the Super Bowl when I was, I think, in the 6th grade. So I was probably 10 or 11 years old last time they won the Super Bowl, and I'm 41 now. So that lets you know how long it's been. All right. 41 try 60. No, I know I don't look 60 years old. Belichick, I don't think he's coming back to the NFL. I don't think he's a grinder anymore. And the NFL is a grind. He's having a hard time coaching college with that girlfriend of his. So I don't think he'll be back there. So what do you think about next season against the Niners at home? Eddie, who are you talking about? What team? What team are you talking about, Eddie? Jaguars. Imagine Harbaugh in Dallas. I like Shoddy. I think Shoddy did a good job this year. The defense was just atrocious for Dallas. You saw Falcons are going to – Matt Ryan, I believe that deal is more so like a senior leader. I don't think it's like a GM or coach. I think they were trying to bring him in as kind of like what Tony Boselli is in Jacksonville, and I think Chris Spielman in Detroit. Some type of like executive that can make decisions or consult. I don't think they're trying to bring him in as a coach. Automatically eliminate us. So, all right. Oh, Niners playing the Cowboys. It's tough, man. I mean, the Niners have the Cowboys number, but Dak is not a bad quarterback. I know people will say a lot about him, but hey, guys, let's get the likes up a little bit more. We're only at 1.1. Let's get it going, guys. Don't sell yourself short, guys. I appreciate you guys. And like and follow and share the stream. All right, let's move on, man. Let's take a look at these matchups for Wild Card Weekend, because it wouldn't be enough of matchups if I didn't talk about the matchups, right? That's what the show is all about. All right, so first one, we got LA Rams on the road taking on the Carolina Panthers. If you're a betting person, such as myself, Rams open up at -10.5. Over under is 46.5. I mean, really, this should be a no-brainer, right? No-brainer here. Rams should win this game. The Rams should win this game. Carolina didn't. I know it was raining. The situations were a little distressful on Saturday against the Buccaneers. But Stafford's the better quarterback. They got the better offense. I know LA has the offensive line issues, but still overall, this is a game you got to win. Because I still think the Rams are a viable team, right? I know their seeding is only 5, but that just kind of is indicative of the season itself. The only reason why Carolina is a 4 seed is because they won the lowly NFC South. Simple as that. The Rams are a better team. And that spread is telling you that the Rams are a way better team. Now, I don't think they'll cover, but I think the Rams will win this game. So they're going to be moving on for sure. So, but I guess keys to victory for the Rams, honestly, run the football, be balanced, which you can. You got 2 really good running backs. And if Devontae Adams is a go, hopefully he should. He's had the couple weeks off with the hamstring. You get him back in the lineup, get him comfortable. That should be good. That should be good. And then your defense, just get after Bryce Young. He's short. He's small. He can't. There's a couple times in that Tampa game, he's like jumping to throw over the line of scrimmage. So, and they got a guy in Jared Verse that can get after it. So I like that. For Carolina, it's simple. Win the turnover margin. You can't turn the ball over, and they got to get takeaways. They have to steal extra possessions from the Rams. And I tell you right now, the Rams, I know the Carolina beat them earlier, and like within the last month, the Rams will be motivated. The Rams will be motivated to knock out the Panthers again in the same setting, same environment. They're going on the road. I do like the Rams though to win the game. All right, we got Packers, Green Bay taking on Bears of Chicago. This is -1 to the Packers. This is almost a pick 'em. Almost a pick 'em. These two teams over under, I believe, is 45.5. They just played not that long ago, a couple weeks ago. All right, couple weeks ago. So, hey, guys, let's get the likes up in here. Let's get to 2,000 if we can. But Packers, Chicago, Jordan Love is more than likely going to play this game. I think he's ready to go right now. I think he's ready to go. This game is going to boil down to who can handle the pressure. Both rosters are very good rosters. The Bears' offense has been really hitting on all cylinders for the most part. The defense leads the league, I believe, in takeaways, if I'm not mistaken. Packers, although they're missing Micah Parsons, still a very formidable defense. As long as Jordan Love just doesn't play stupid. That's the only thing with them. With that said, I still like Chicago Bears at home as the dog to win this game. I think Ben Johnson is going to figure out a way to get the job done. The Packers, to me, after the Micah Parsons deal, after he got hurt, they really weren't quite the same team. So I like the Bears to win this game for sure. To win this game and move on to the divisional round. All right, and the final game on Saturday, you got Bills and Jaguars. Bills are favorite on the road, -1 against the Jaguars. Over under is 52.5. This one's a toss-up, man. Kind of like the Packers, because you don't know what Bills team you're going to get, right? You could get this fantastic Bills team that's just hitting on all cylinders, right? That Josh Allen is just carrying his team because they really don't have anybody else to go to other than James Cook. And, he's hit or miss sometimes too. Their defense is hit or miss. They're 50-50. The Jags have been just kicking ass and taking names the last month of this season. They're at home. Shockingly, they're according to BetMGM, they are the dogs. They are the dogs. I just don't know what Bills team is going to show up. With that said, this is the year. If the Bills are going to make a run, it's this year. No Patrick Mahomes, no Joe Burrow, no Lamar Jackson. This is the time. So I just don't know what Bills team is going to show up. And they've like I said, they've had glimpses of where you're like, hell yeah. And then the next week you're like, hell no. So I just don't know. But I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills either way, even though they're on the road in Duval County. Although the Jags have been playing really well, I still like Josh Allen to edge them out and win this game straight up and get the win and move on to the next round of the playoffs. Okay. All right, guys, let's get the likes going up on TikTok, man. We are stuck at 1.2. We got 4 people in here, man. Let's share the stream. Let's get some more people in here as we keep the show rolling, as we keep moving on through Wild Card Weekend and breaking down these matchups. All right, we got 2 more games after this one. We got 49ers at Eagles. +4.5 are the 49ers. Rightfully so. The 49ers are coming in banged up. I mean, I would assume Trent Williams is going to give it a go. Ricky Pearsall should probably give it a go. The over-under is 44.5. I'd probably take that, honestly. Brock Purdy didn't – I don't say he didn't look well. Was it Saturday they played Seattle? Yeah, it was Saturday. He just had no one to go to. Seattle completely just shut down that run game. They were targeting George Kittle. He got a couple plays here and there. Brock Purdy couldn't really utilize his feet the way he normally can. But I will say this, the only good thing for them is that this Eagles defense, although it can be great, they haven't been great, right? So nonetheless, though, keys to victory, I guess, for the 49ers is you got to run the football. You got to run the football, and you got to throw the ball to CMC. If you can get Ricky Pearsall back, that's really great. Of course, Trent Williams, if you have him, that's just only going to bolster your offensive line. I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, for Christ's sakes. I mean, you need that guy, right? You need a Trent Williams on your line, right? So Eagles, offensively, man, they can't afford to get in a shootout, okay? Although they have the potential of being a very high potent, high explosive offense, they just haven't really been able to show that. Whether it's play calling, whether it's the quarterback play, I think it's a little combination of both. They definitely have the wide receivers. You can't tell me A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith is not a very, very, very highly sought after duo in the National Football League, right? But I like the Eagles to win this game. I think the injuries are going to finally catch up to the 49ers. I tell you what, Kyle Shanahan, if he doesn't win Coach of the Year, he should probably at least get honorable mention. The job he's done with guys like, especially mainly on the defense too, right? You guys, Fred Warner, gone, right? Nick Bosa, done for the year, right? God knows what happened to Brandon Ayuk. He's like taking money, giving money back, like whatever, right? They get rid of Debo. And they won 12 games. They won 12 games and could have potentially been the number one seed in the NFC. So, but I think this is where their journey ends. Although Brock Purdy had been playing lights out, it's the playoff time, and Philadelphia is a very good team. For whatever it's worth, Jalen Hurts has not had a really great year this year, but he's a winner. And I think they'll end up winning this game. It'll be close. I'd probably take the under, but I like the Eagles. All right. Chargers at Patriots. This is a very interesting game. Chargers opened up at +3.5. Patriots are the favorites. Obviously, over under is 46 total. This is a really good test for the Patriots. If I know that a lot of people are going to say, well, they had an easy schedule. And granted, they did. Okay. You can't blame them for that. They played the teams that were on the schedule. They won those games. How they lost to the Raiders week 1, I don't know. But they did. But that's neither here or there. This team has been able to rattle off win after win after win. They've destroyed teams. They went on the road in Baltimore a couple Sunday night, and did a pretty good job in a very hostile environment in a playoff-like atmosphere. Drake May probably going to win the MVP. Some people probably don't agree with that, but the reality is he's probably going to win it, right? Unless Matthew Stafford did enough on Sunday to get his name back in the running there, which I don't think he did. But either way. All right, TikTok guys. Hey, we got 9 people in here, man. Spam that like button, man. Like and follow. Share the stream. Let's get it going, guys. Hey, appreciate the follow there. NIL Masterclass. Appreciate you, man. The keys to victory for the Patriots, I mean, it's simple, man. You got home field advantage. Run the football. Be balanced. Drake May can dot defenses up, right? We saw that. But they're better, like any team. Run the football. You still got a young quarterback. This is his first playoff start. There's a lot of pressure, especially when you're like the number 2, seed. I think they're number 2, right? Number 2 seed. He like I said, he could be the MVP. Run the football. Don't turn the ball over because he can't. He is a little prone to that. But you got to protect the football. The Chargers are just good enough. If you give them a window, they can win, right? Now, looking at the Chargers' perspective, they got to run the football. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. I'm not from New England, but I can only imagine early January, late December, it's going to be cold. Okay? All right? Run the football. Take some pressure off of Justin Herbert. Obviously, he's dealing with the hand situation there, or thumb, I think it is. Their offensive line has been banged up too. I don't know if they're going to get healthy enough. I just don't think they have enough in the tank. I think the Patriots are a little bit more talented. However, though, there are some other underlining factors too that I think people are not talking about with New England. You got the Stephon Diggs situation, and I believe one of their other linemen, he's got some type of assault charge or something like that. Some running with the law, right? Both of them. Obviously, I don't know, they're innocent till proven guilty, but that could be weighing on the team, right? Because reporters are going to be asking about that constantly, right? Does that affect the team? Will they be able to rally around that? I think they will. I think Mike Vrabel has been in the business long enough. He's played in the Super Bowl. He's coached really good teams. I think the Patriots will win this game. I think the spread is pretty accurate for the most part. I think this game will be decided by a field goal or just a slight little bit more. But I like the Patriots to win this game. Sean, appreciate the rose, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you guys. Let's get those likes up, though, man. We're slacking. Sean's my guy, man. Appreciate Sean for joining tonight, man. I've got a question here real quick. As a Cowboys fan, are you rooting for the Niners or Eagles? I'm not really rooting for neither one of them, per se. I just want a good game. I just don't want to get a boring-ass game, as simple as that. So, obviously, I really can't like the Eagles just based off of geopolitical reasons, right? As far as like the division that they're in. And I really can't like the Niners either, but it's not that deep for me. Like, I'm a Cowboys fan. But it's not that deep. I'm here to bring you guys objective perspective about these games. But yeah, I'm not rooting for neither one of them, honestly. I just want to see a good game at the end of the day. So what we got here? How do you feel about Tommy Joe? Yeah, it's okay. You missed it a little bit earlier. How do you feel the Ravens fired? I think it was time to go. Honestly, I think they needed a new voice there. But I don't think it's going to be. I think they hit their peak already. I get it. It's easier to fire the older coach than it is to fire a phenom and to trade a guy like Lamar Jackson. You're not going to start all over by getting rid of him. It's easier to start over with Lamar Jackson than it is to John Harbaugh. So I'm not surprised. I was calling it for those like guys like my boy Sean here, who was on live with me Sunday. I kept saying it. This game was going to decide between Pittsburgh and Baltimore, not only who's going to the playoffs, but what coach was going to keep their job. And the Baltimore Ravens waited a little bit, and they decided that, hey, John, you're out of there. We're gonna go in a different direction there. So, all right, one more game to break down, and we'll get back to your questions. But I'll answer some more questions if we can get to 2,000 likes in the chat, man. Let's get it going. Share the stream. Just get these likes up, man. It's your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk. NFL matchups. We're breaking down the games for Wild Card Weekend in the National Football League. Also streaming on YouTube as well. Actually, we have a comment in YouTube. What's up, Ben? He says he's got Rams, Bills, Eagles, Patriots, and Steelers. He's got the Steelers winning. Wow. Ben is just, boom, putting him on the table with the Steelers. He dropped them. Damn near broke the table, right? If you guys understand what the reference I'm making. But I'm glad you brought that up because let's talk. That's the final game I'm going to be talking about here. Texans open up at -3 favorites on the road in Pittsburgh. Good thing for Pittsburgh, they're getting DK Metcalf back. Now, as far as the game analysis is concerned, let's start with the Pittsburgh Steelers first. That was what's the best way to say it? That game, it was pretty clunky in the beginning. Pretty clunky. But then we got to witness what Aaron Rodgers was like in his prime. Right now, I know there was some busted coverages down there. Guys weren't playing defense at the end, at least in the secondary for both teams. But that was vintage Aaron Rodgers that I haven't seen in quite some time. Now, fast forward to this week, you're not playing the Ravens. The Ravens got no pressure. You're playing the Texans team, and I don't know how many sacks they got this year, but I can only guess it's in the 20s or high 20s, if not more, right? Someone can fact check me on that. This defense with Will Anderson Jr., Danielle Hunter, Derek Stingley, they get after it. They get after it. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers line, pretty solid, I would say, but I don't think they've seen anything like this all year. I really don't think so. Texans is a very, very underrated team, especially offensively. Now, I know they can have their lulls, right? They can have their periods where they're not playing that good. And all intents and purposes, CJ Stroud doesn't have to be great here in this game because you don't need to be. Your defense will steal you a possession here or there, right? But nonetheless, keys to victory for Pittsburgh. Find a way to run the football. Jalen Warren was really good on Sunday night, mind you. I think he had like 60 yards rushing, but that 60 yards didn't really do justice. Like when you watch that game, he was very elusive. He made guys miss, and he caught the ball out of the backfield too, so that was good. He's going to have to be big. They're going to have to get DK Metcalf incorporated in that game quick and in a hurry. They cannot afford to go down 10-0 to the Texans because if they go down double digits, the Texans are going to sit there and say, it's hunting season on Aaron Rodgers, okay? So running the football. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers' defense is gonna step up. They got great veteran leaderships, guys like TJ Watt, Cam Ward. I think Mike Tomlin's going to get these guys fired up. It's going to be a very, very chaotic scene in Pittsburgh. Those fans are going to be in a frenzy. But I think in the end, keys to victory for the Texans, before I give you my pick, you kind of see where I'm leaning with this right now. We're almost at 2,000 likes, guys. Just keep it going. Texans, sack the quarterback. Apply pressure, get after Aaron Rodgers. You do that, you're going to force a couple turnovers here and there, and you're going to give yourself a victory. I'm not all that sold about their offense. It's just their defense is so elite. It's so elite. With that said, I like the Texans going into Pittsburgh in a cold situation, a cold environment, playoffs, and they're going to get the win. I think the Texans are going to win this game. So And this might be the last game for Aaron Rodgers. I think there's reports out there saying that he may try to give it another run with Pittsburgh, or he retires, or does Mike Tomlin keep his job? Will he be fired once this is all settled and done? Although he was able to make the playoffs again, right? So who knows? So there you have it. Those are the matchups. Me personally, I'm taking the Rams. I'm taking the Bears. I'm taking the Bills. I'm taking the Eagles. I'm taking the Pats. And I'm taking the Texans to round off wild card weekend. Boom. There you go. There you go. All right. Well, that's all I got on YouTube. I'm going to transition. I'm going to stay here locked in live on TikTok. So if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, whatever you want to get down on TikTok, throw your questions in the comments, but let's get to 2,000 likes if we can. We're right there. Let's get the gifts. If you guys have, if you got them, hey, please, I won't mind. I'm going to wrap up here on YouTube. So I'll be back next week, Tuesday. We're going to be recapping all of Wild Card Weekend and getting you guys ready for the divisional round here on YouTube. Check me out on YouTube again, as well as on the Grid Network YouTube channel. Other than that, that's all I got, man. You guys enjoy the rest of your week. This is your boy, Ryan Flowers, a.k.a. Clutch Sports Talk. Like I always say, never settle till the work is done. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Clutch Sports Talk. Let's go.